it's good to put out into the world that I'm not a professional and this is not a tutorial. I hope this is just inspiration for whoever wants it to make something, to make anything. I made this dress from my old bedsheet because I really support reducing waste in fashion, but also I think you can add life to so many things that you thought were once lifeless. To reduce waste, I typically sew with old or recycled fabric like this old bedsheet. To guide in my measurements, I grab a dress that fits me very well. I just trace along that to give me a guide for my new dress. This technique is very simple and allows us not to have to reinvent the wheel when it comes to how our dress fits and what size and length we want it to be. As I trace around this dress, I avoid the long sleeves because I want my new dress to have a puffed short sleeve. I also trace along the dress a bit further than the seams end to give me a bit of room to add that ruched detail. Here the distance is about 2 inches because I know that I'm going to make this a fitted dress that needs a bit more room to stretch. I doubled up my fabric so as I'm cutting along this dress, I have 2 layers, the front and the back. I now line up the dress front and back. I put those together and sew them all across, avoiding the neck area and the bottom piece. And I just do a simple straight stitch across these sides to close. I chose a fitted bedsheet for this dress because of this material here. It looked to me like it could be a great sleeve. So I took about 5 inches of the edge of that material and sewed it together to create a sleeve. I love the way the fabric drapes and the elastic band adds dimension. Once I have my sleeves, I pin them to the dress form before I sew along the pins. Now we have some sort of dress form. It's giving us potato sack, barbecue lay. We are getting there. Now we have to add detail to our dress to make it look less potato sack and more dress. I am showing you all how to do the ruching detail. Step 1, change your length and width to the highest setting on your sewing machine and just sew straight across. As you sew straight across, do not close the stitch, or in other words, do not backstitch on the beginning or end of the sew. You can do as many lines as you want. The more you do, the smaller your dress will fit, but I did about 3 on the front and 2 on each side. Step 2 is to pull the thread very gently across each of the stitches that you made. As you can see, you can do this depending on how tight or loose you want it, and just go across for each line that you've sewn. Gives this dress dimension, a form-fitting bodice, and just a lot of style. Looking less like a potato sack and more like a dress. Step 3 is securing those ruched stitches. In order to do that, we're going to pin down the current stitch that we have for a ruching detail, return to our short length and width for our stitch, and just sew atop each of those ruching details. This time you do want to backstitch or close the thread when you sew across this detail. No need to be perfect with how you align it because you can remove that earlier stitch once you finish. I have some rough edges around my dress that I want to clean up. I'll do that by doing a double fold hem. So I fold once, fold twice, and then I sew across that top piece with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. I do this for the entirety of the dress wherever there is a loose or rough edge. I hemmed about 1/2 inch away from the edge for my hemline. From a bedsheet, we get a dress.